Welcome to Is Luella. Today we will be exploring our baseball history, and we are blessed to have Mr. Mike Norris, a former Major League Baseball player. Welcome, Mr. Norris.
Thank you for having me, Luella.
It is such a blessing to have you here. Mike, you are just doing so many phenomenal things in your life, and I would like to start off by talking about the children's lives that you have touched with your baseball academy.
Well, this is something that's very dear to my heart. After retiring from Major League Baseball, I had a very big void in my life. And then after watching the precipitous drop in black athletes and playing in Major League Baseball, I thought that me being a former black ace, which is I'm one of 15 African-American ball players to have won 20 games in a season in Major League Baseball. And as I saw the drop in baseball, I wondered, would there ever be another 20-game black pitcher again? So I started my youth foundation, the Mike Norris School of Health and Wellness. And then the Oakland A's have stepped in and given me the opportunity to be one of 8 Urban League baseball academies. And I now have a Major League Baseball academy.
Great, and can you tell us where that's located at?
Our hub is in Oakland, but we have 9 teams in 9 different cities. Those cities include San Francisco, Oakland, Berkeley, San Pablo, Richmond, Antioch, Pittsburgh, Fairfield, and Vallejo.
Beautiful. And then, so tell me some of the victories that you have experienced from having the academy already with the children.
Well, I'm so proud that our main focus, instead of being baseball the primary, we're having academics as the primary. And so an education is first and foremost in any kid's life. And so I'm very proud to have that component in my program.
And how old were you when you started playing baseball?
I'd say my mom let me out of the house. We used to live in the projects. And so you go down the play yard, there's an immense amount of kids playing. And they happened to have been playing a little softball that day. And so back in the days when they chose teams, they would get the baseball bat and then they would give it, and then we'd pick hands, and then whoever got to the top of the bat picked first. Well, everybody got picked and stuff, so then the last 2 people were left was me and this other girl. And so they picked me last, and the girl went before me. I wound up getting 2 hits out there that day, and I was able to catch the ball at 7 years old, so I was able to compete with the older kids at 7 years old.
That is so amazing. And you know, my thing is, I was wondering, how did it feel when you found out that you was so gifted and talented at being a pitcher?
Well, that happened. The baseball coach, when we all were trying out for the team, he wanted to see, he needed a pitcher. So he lined each one of us up on the mound, and he wanted to see who threw the hardest and who was the most accurate. And out of the 12 guys, that became me.
Wow.
And that's how my pitching prowess became.
Now tell me, what was the speed of your evolve?
Well, now they have radar guns, and before they had the radar gun, it was a jugs gun, they call it. And a radar gun would be equivalent to what the highway patrol would use. A jugs gun is about 3 to 4 miles slower than that. So I was clocked at 92 miles an hour with the jugs gun, which would have been equivalent to probably 95, 96 miles an hour.
That is so awesome. And what was your first big game?
Well, I became, in my Major League debut, my first start in the Major Leagues, I became the 35th pitcher in Major League history to throw a complete game shutout. Wow. And I won 3-0 against the Chicago White Sox as I 3-hit them that day.
Now, what color was the glove that you wore on the field?
Well, I was called a hot dog, and a hot dog is a person that's pretty much a show-off. And everyone had brown gloves back in that era, and I was the first one to ever come out with a different color glove, which was green, which would match the color of our uniforms.
Wow.
And so today, children all over are the most emphatic about the gold glove, the green glove, opposed to my gold glove.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, Mike, you are just doing so many things, not only with the Baseball Academy, but I know that you're also doing something with the wellness program. Let's talk about that.
Well, health and wellness is a big issue, and nutrition is a very big part of my health and wellness. Mentoring, tutoring, and nutrition are the three factors or the components that make up my program. And I'm just real pleased that I'm able to have that because it's essential.
I'd like to know, what is your views on gentrification?
Gentrification is the new discrimination. Gentrification is a sad thing where you have middle-class people that are moving into neighborhoods that are underprivileged, and a lot of these people are a result from the Silicon Valley, and they coming from San Francisco, and they come over to the East Bay because the rent is cheaper, it's closer to get back to San Francisco, and so a lot of neighborhoods, especially the black neighborhoods, are being taken over with the gentrification, and it's just really a tough thing to watch.
It really is, and I totally agree with you. Now, I know that we both know Dr. Angela Wheeler, who has a foundation called the Ann Weaver Foundation for Sarcoidosis that me and Mike Norris has been very highly supporting. But I would like for you to talk about your viewpoint on that particular disease, sarcoidosis.
Well, I'm an advocate for sarcoidosis, for one. And I became very interested in sarcoidosis because it affects mostly black women between the ages of 20 to 40. And this really rang true to me, and I wanted to become more aware of it. And once Mrs. Wheeler and I are very good friends, and once she expressed to me how her mom passed away from it, I became even more interested in it.
Right, that's what got me interested in it, because I didn't really know much about the disease until she educated me on it, about the sarcoidosis,
Right.
and I started meeting people with that disease.
Right.
And it's not a lot of a disease that we have enough information out there.
Not at all. And we've had some great people leave us through death. The bereavement is incredible. People like Mahalia Jackson, Bernie Mac, Reggie White, the great Hall of Fame football player. So it's affected a lot of lives. People that are still currently living, Tisha Campbell, used to be on Martin,
Right.
co-star of Martin. Floyd Mayweather's father, the senior, has it. And so it's a lot of people that are afflicted with it but still living. So it's kind of a difficult thing. You don't know when you're going to die from it. There's no prognosis of it.
Right.
But at the same time, it will sneak up on you and take your life from you.
Right. Mike Norris last year published an amazing, powerful book called Blackballed Twice. And he is going to be reading an excerpt about sarcoidosis in his Blackballed Twice book that was published by Sisters with Ink.
Quickly, I learned about sarcoidosis with much intrigue. Weight loss, fever, swollen lymph nodes resulting in exhaustion, fatigue. Almost everyone who has sarcoidosis eventually experiences lung problems, a persistent cough, shortness of breath, and wheezing. To say the least, this doesn't sound too pleasing.
Yes, that says a lot.
Yeah.
And I really want to encourage our viewers to look into that disease, sarcoidosis, because it's not enough information about it. And if you're on Facebook, please look up Dr. Angela Wheeler, who has built a major foundation surrounding the sarcoidosis, and she's trying to get education and bring people together, and she's doing a lot of wonderful things surrounding that. So, and if you interested, also email me, and I will make sure that you're connected to her. Mike, also, was there a period that you was incarcerated?
Yes. Unfortunately, I made two extreme mistakes in my young life. One was indulging in drugs, specifically cocaine, which of course it being illegal, and of course in baseball it was ostracized. Them not knowing what to do with that, since that was basically a new drug, I was basically the brunt of it, and I became blackballed from baseball for 4 years. So I wasn't able to play baseball in the major leagues for 4 years.
Wow.
And the only reason why they brought me back was an insurance policy for Lloyd's of London that they had for maybe over $10 million.
Wow.
And so I had to take a deposition, and one was for the Oakland A's. I took it for the A's, and they said that the reason why I wasn't in baseball anymore was because of my arm, which did go out. And then Lloyd's of London was saying the reason why I was out of baseball was because of drugs and alcohol. So obviously the Oakland A's won that case, and so they got me on the team, paid me the league minimum of $100,000, and so they released me within 3 months after they won the deposition.
Wow, that's
And so
terrible.
it was a great business deal for them to get $10 million and give me $100,000. So that was a $900,000 profit they got, which they suspended me and didn't pay me, and that was my year's salary, was $900,000 that year.
Oh, wow.
So I took that tremendously hard, and so this is why I was able to write about it in the book.
Right. So let's talk about your book, because I know that that's your first book, but you have another book coming out. But let's talk about Blackballed Twice. Like, what is the purpose that you hope for your readers to get out of that book?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you, because no one would touch this book because it's so controversial. I'm in debt to you the rest of my life for that. I really appreciate you and love you for that.
Thank
you.
you.
The book tells about the commissioner of baseball who was behind the machination and the conspiracy of getting blacks out of baseball. And so I think overall it was about 35 blacks that got indicted, 4 went to prison, and only 3 white people were involved in it. And 2 of those weren't even starters. And then you have a lot of Hall of Famers that are in the Hall of Fame right now that are white individuals, and some of the blacks aren't in it. So it's very unfair and unjust.
I agree with you, Mike. Let's talk about the statistics around baseball, about how the African American numbers are falling off in the baseball. What do you think is the cause of that?
Well, it's a precipitous drop, and it comes from, like I was talking about, the cocaine era that we had in baseball. And so, like I said, they made the blacks the example, and it just turned out that they thought, why are we going to pay a bunch of uneducated people all this money and they're going to blow it on drugs? So they stopped drafting and coming into the neighborhoods like they used to draft us. They would come out to the ballparks, and they stopped doing that. Stopped coming into the ghettos to get the black kids to play baseball, and that's what happened. And then life in itself is a secondary phase of it. There's no black fathers in the home. You learn how to play baseball by your dad or your uncle or somebody taking you out in the backyard and playing catch.
Right.
And there was no one to do that for these kids. Secondly, is the game is outpriced the black kids. It's too expensive to play the game. An aluminum bat costs you $300. And there's no black mom that's on welfare or on a low income gonna be able to afford the aluminum bat, $300, the baseball glove, $100, the pair of shoes, $100. It's ridiculous.
Right.
And now everything is in the age of the travel ball now, so it costs $1,000 for your kid to play on a travel ball team, which is why I instituted what I have my kids play for free. We give them equipment, gloves, and uniforms to play.
Okay, and let's talk about your program, because if someone was interested in registering their kid in your academy, how would they connect with you?
We're having an orientation and a sign-up on June the 9th at Defirmary Park in Oakland, and it's going to be a clinic that we're going to hold to teach kids how to hit, run, and throw, and it'll be from the ages 4 to 17, and we have 9 ex-Major League ball players out there to help them learn how to play baseball.
That is so beautiful, because I know that that's what our community lack, is enough people coming forth and mentoring our children and teaching them and opening their minds up, because a lot of our kids is getting so tied up in social media, and a mind is a terrible thing to waste, and we want to keep them very active.
It truly is.
So I really want to just thank you, Mike, for all of what you contribute to the community, the programs that you're doing to just expound our kids and make them go reach higher and further. And what would you like for our viewers to take away from knowing how to pursue their dreams?
Well, dreams are an incredible thing, and they do come true. I'll tell you a quick dream that I used to have as a kid when I wasn't sleeping. I'd dream about, and I'd fall asleep, and I'd dream and wake up that I'd be in the San Francisco Giants dugout. And Willie Mays and Jim Ray Hart and Lance Cepeda and Juan Marichal and Willie McCovey would sit down and have a conversation with me. 20 years later, I'm playing in the major leagues with Willie McCovey. Wow. It's a dream come true. It's just totally amazing. It's great.
That's good.
So, if they always tell me that your job is not a job if you enjoy your work.
Right.
And so if you can
I
find
totally
something
agree.
that you like doing, stick with it.
I totally agree with you, and I think those are some great positive words. Welcome back. I just had to add in a little bit more information about Mike Norris. Is also has a STEM Foundation education. Could you tell us more and how to find out further information about that, Mike?
Okay, well, I'm on the executive board of the STEM Foundation, and the STEM Foundation, if you want to get in touch with them, it's the STEM Future Foundation .org.
Beautiful.
And you know, with our school system being antiquated as it is, the STEM Foundation, the STEM, which stands, the increment is STEM, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. And this is the education of the future. And this has been in the neighborhood, in the school districts of Walnut Creek, Dublin, and Pleasanton, and it's just now getting to Oakland. And so we're a little bit behind, but this is going to be the education of the future. And if you don't have an education that consists of STEM by 2020, then you're going to be in bad shape without a college education or without a STEM education.
Wow. Well, thank you for giving us heads up on that. We will definitely want our viewers to follow through with that.